What are a DevOps engineer's roles and responsibilities? Hi guys, my name is Helen. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be talking about the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer in an organization. So whether you are in your learning phase or you are already a DevOps engineer working for organization, today I'm gonna clarify the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer so you get some clarity on that area, so you really know what you are expected to do. Actually, it depends on the tools that your organization uses. It also depends on the on a particular project. It depends on the tech stacks and some other factors. All right, so please, if you are yet to subscribe, can you subscribe to my channel because I've got a lot to share with you guys. DevOps engineers promote collaboration between development and operations, driving continuous integration, delivery, and deployment to enhance software development. DevOps engineers are very instrumental in promoting efficient software development and delivery by focusing on collaboration, automation, and overall process optimization within an organization. The roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer actually encompass a wide array of tasks, including enabling and assisting developers in their tasks, automating infrastructures to ensure efficient provisioning and scaling, facilitating operations by streamlining development or deployment and monitoring processes, and contributing to the overall improvement of the organization. All right, so DevOps engineers are very crucial, right, because they kind of foster this seamless collaboration between development and operation teams. They break down traditional silos and promote a unified cross-functional approach to building and delivering softwares. So basically, the responsibilities of a DevOps engineer span various tools and technologies tailored to the specific tech stack, size, and workflow of each organization. So what John is using in his organization might be different from what Shooks is using in his organizations. All right, so organization A might actually use some tools that are different from organization B. All right, so if you are Shooks in organization A, it means your responsibilities and the tools you'll be using, the technologies will be totally different from what the organization B uses, which is where John works. All right, so you just have to tailor it down to your aspiring organization or your potential organization or your current organization. DevOps engineer, Linux is one of the most known DevOps tool, right? Because it's basically an operating system you'll be using in your environment. So you definitely need to know Linux, right? So as a DevOps engineer, you'll be responsible for managing and configuring Linux servers for various environments, depending on how many environments you have. And you'll be troubleshooting and resolving system-related issues. Anyone that comes across your way, you troubleshoot and resolve such issues. And you'll be automating tasks using shell script or other scripting languages. All right, and you'll also be responsible for setting up and maintaining security configuration on Linux systems. All right, let's talk about Git. The responsibilities of a DevOps engineer that uses Git in his environment. So Git being a distributed version control system, it will enable you to manage version control for source code and collaborating with developers. All right, and you'll be creating and managing Git repositories for the projects that you have in your organization. With Git, you'll be enabling branching strategies. You'll be responsible for implementing Git workflows and best practices. Example, Git flow, trunk-based deployment or development. And yeah, so that is Git. Let's talk about Docker. So if you're using Docker in your environment as a DevOps engineer, these are the responsibilities you should look out for. So as a DevOps engineer, you'll be responsible for setting up private Docker registry, you'll be involved in writing Docker files. All right, Docker files that you can use to, create a custom Docker images for your applications and services. Responsible for implementing containerization for microservices architecture in your environment, and you also help to create and manage containers in different environments. And here comes Kubernetes. So Kubernetes as a tool basically requires deep expertise, okay, because it's a complex tool, and you really need to have that expertise in order to operate it in your environment. So as a DevOps engineer, you'll be deploying, managing, and orchestrating containerized applications on Kubernetes clusters. You'll be responsible for configuring and scaling Kubernetes pods, deployment, and services. You are also responsible for implementing and maintaining continuous deployment with Kubernetes. So you also be responsible for upgrading your cluster. You don't want to have an outdated cluster. It won't help you, all right? And you also, monitor and ensure high availability of applications in your cluster. You definitely need to ensure that you have high availability of your application by continuous monitoring. Here we have Jenkins. So as a DevOps engineer, these are the responsibilities when it involves using Jenkins. So you'll be setting up and configuring Jenkins pipeline for continuous integration and continuous delivery, CI/CD. All right, and you'll be automating your build, the test, and deployment processes in Jenkins. You are responsible for managing Jenkins agents and integrating with version control systems. So if you're using Git and GitHub, for instance, you are expected to integrate the version control system as well as the agents. All right, and again, you'll be implementing Jenkins plugins for additional functionality. So you will basically know when to install some plugins. You really know how to make use of Jenkins plugins in order to add extra features or functionalities in your environment. And here comes Ansible. So Ansible is a configuration management tool, and as a DevOps engineer, you'll be automating infrastructure provisioning and configuration management. You'll be responsible for writing Ansible playbook for application deployment and server configuration. As a DevOps engineer, you'll also be managing infrastructure as code and ensuring consistency across your environment. You'll also be integrating Ansible with other tools to form a seamless CI/CD pipeline. Ansible is very, very helpful, and it will just basically help you automate stuffs that you could spend hours doing. All right, so you don't really want to involve yourself in that stress doing some manual tasks that you can easily use Ansible to just clear off. All right, here we have Terraform. These are the following responsibilities. So you'll be provisioning and managing your infrastructure resources using Terraform script. Just put everything in a code. That is why it's an infrastructure as a code tool. All right, and you are expected to define your infrastructure as code for different cloud providers. So for instance, if it's an organization that uses AWS and Azure, you're expected to write code for these different cloud providers. All right, you are responsible for creating reusable Terraform modules for consistent infrastructure setup. You'll be applying infrastructure as code principles to maintain and version infrastructure configurations in your environment. AWS. All right, so it basically depends on the cloud provider that your organization uses. If you are using AWS as a DevOps engineer, you'll be responsible for setting up and configuring AWS services such as EC2 instances, S3, relational databases, VPC, etc. You'll be managing AWS resources through AWS CLI or SDKs, depending on the one that you want to use. You'll be responsible for implementing security best practices in AWS environment because you don't want to compromise or leave your infrastructure very vulnerable. Um, You'll also be responsible in monitoring AWS resources and optimizing cost. Very, very important. You really need to monitor your resources and make sure you don't really want to be running some resources that is not really needed. All right. So monitoring is very, very critical when you're using AWS or any other cloud provider. In conclusion, as organizations embrace DevOps principles, I want you to note that the specific tools and responsibilities may vary widely, okay? Reflecting the unique needs and challenges that each organization faces. Now, by embracing the adaptability and dynamic nature of DevOps roles, the skilled professional as a DevOps engineer, you play a vital role in shaping the future of software development, driving innovation, and meeting the evolving demands of the industry. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. That way, you get to see my videos. You get to see whenever I publish a new video. Alright. Also, drop me a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this video. That will help the visibility, and it will also encourage me to produce more videos for you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye.